Oh, good morning, my lovelies. And God knows what's going on in town today, but I struggle to park. Oops. Cool Beetle. I'm also struggling to remember where the hell the car is. Yeah, all of my normal spaces jam-packed full. So I've had to pay. I've actually had, bloody hell, look at this. £2 and 2 shillings. Outrageous. Right, let's get home. Hey. I need to wash this car. Oh! Oh, God. Right, where am I? Not a bad day, darlings. Not a bad day at all. Let's try not to run over this gentleman with the slightly unusual gait. And that's gate, G-A-I-T, not G-A-T-E. That's a different kind of gate, is that? See, all of this parking here is, well, it should be a lot cheaper, but it's actually free because the parking meter hasn't been operative in living memory. But it's all full today. My 50p parking. Oh, bull! I'll drive out in front of you. There's the crooked spire, darlings, for which Chesterfield is rightly famous or well known. Oh, that's just fallen off now. Oh, bloody hell. I hate coming into town, darlings. You know I hate coming into town. I don't like coming into town anyway. Even if it was for something really lovely, then I still wouldn't like coming into town. I don't like towns anymore. I don't mind the towns themselves. I don't like the traffic. I don't like the fact that it stops. I've got used to living out in the middle of nowhere, darlings. Oh, I don't mind stopping for sheep or a herd of cow crossing the road or a tractor, something organic. I object to this. I object to traffic lights. I object to people putting things up which give me instructions. I don't want to receive instructions. I want to be free to roam. I want to be a free-range Boaty. See, look at this. Bloody red lights. Ugh. It's not natural, I tell you. It's not natural. That's a nice bottom. Fair play. You don't get traffic lights in the countryside. You don't get traffic lights halfway up a mountain. Bloody hate towns. And I don't like the interruption to my routine. I had to get up this morning. I had to rush my second cup of coffee, thank you very much. I've done no editing. I haven't begun to get today's video sorted. It puts my routine all out of willy whack. Yellow car, no return. But at least it's not raining today. We should be grateful for small mercies, darlings, and I'm going back to scenic routes, so at least I get something out of this unwelcome trip into yellow car, no return. Unwelcome trip into civilization, and that's easy for you to say. Dead squirrel, no return. See, I'm so discombobulated, I don't even know what I'm having for lunch. And you know me, darlings, I always know what I'm having for lunch. Ugh. Right, to stop and go into that. Right, I'll bring you back when we're out of this wretched town and in some nice countryside instead. It's not my day. I've just done a 10-minute piece to camera and the camera was not turned on. So you've missed out on a really interesting story about an intense podgering session myself and the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty had in full view of a CCTV camera. Well, I'm sorry you missed it. Whee! This is rather lovely, isn't it, my dears? You see, this is what I mean. This is what you want. Roads with no white lines, no wretched traffic lights, nothing dictating to you what you should and shouldn't do. Just human freedom to, alright, there's a giveaway sign, but, you know, there has to be some level of interference to keep us reasonably safe. But it's only transitory, look, and then you're back onto a nice little country lane with no orders. Stay on this side of the road. Stop here. Stop when we tell you to. Stop when we shine a red light into your eyes. I might treat myself to an extra cup of coffee today. I feel I've earned it, darlings. What day is it? Thursday, isn't it? Thursday, so good to me. I didn't put my bin out, but it doesn't matter because there's hardly anything in it. There's hardly anything in it. Right, darlings, catch you in a bit.
Can you say mind these two? What was the drink you were talking about yesterday?
Riaka.
Which one? It's red wine. Spanish Riaka. It's a red wine.
Most of it on.
God bless you. God bless you, Governor. Well, if it was your father, I would have said Gesundheit. Yeah.
Hello.
Eh?
Hello.
Yeah, your command of German is,
Hello.
well, you pronounced Merlot better than your Rioja anyway.
What do you mean? Merlot.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Merlot.
Yeah.
The emphasis should be on the second syllable.
Merlot.
Yeah.
Merlot. Merlot.
Yeah.
So we have three maybe 6 minutes.
Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
Pinotage or Pinotage? What is that?
Zinfandel.
Right.
Rosé.
Right. No argument with any of that.
So we have
And what about the Spanish one?
Rioja.
Ah.
Rioja.
Yeah. Rioja.
is Pinotage or Pinotage?
Pinotage.
Pinotage. We just have 2 of those. We should order at least 6, yeah? 6 more, man.
Yeah, order a cake.
6, okay. Yes, have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
chap.
Thank you. Have a good night.
What is it now? Club it?
Yeah.
That's the way. Take care, guys. Thank you very much. Right then, darlings, I am going to end this video with a rant. I'm very angry indeed, and this is a genuine thing. I'm not putting this on or making it up for the video or anything like that. This is genuine anger. Now, I warn you, this rant is going to be an Archers-based rant. So if you don't listen to Radio 4, or you're not a fan of the Archers, or you've got no interest in it, then A, shame on you, what are you thinking? But B, you might want to skip just to the end of the video. Oh, and also, I should tell you that this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't watched tonight, Thursday's, listen to. If you haven't listened to tonight, Thursday's episode of The Archers, if you're waiting for it to come up tomorrow afternoon, Friday afternoon, I keep forgetting that tomorrow is going to be today when you watch this, or you're waiting until the omnibus on Sunday, then again, turn this video off now, because I'm going to tell you what happened in the sentencing of George Grundy. Okay, so you've been warned. If you don't want to know what happened in the sentencing of George Grundy, turn off this broadcast immediately. Tonight, on the 10th of October 2024, at around 11 minutes past 7 p.m, George Grundy was sentenced to 1 year for dangerous driving and 2 years for perverting the course of justice. The sentences to run concurrently. Now, in case you don't know what that means, the sentences running concurrently means that you serve both sentences at the same time. So although he was sentenced to 3 years in total, he serves the 1 year and the 2 years concurrently, literally at the same time. So he only serves 2 years, not 3. However, the fact that he is spending 1 single second of time behind bars is an absolute fucking disgrace. This is the single biggest miscarriage of justice since the Birmingham 6. Absolutely bloody outrageous. He should not even have been standing in the dock. Another person should have been standing in that dock, and that other person was Alice. Let's go over the facts here, shall we? A weak-minded woman decided that despite having had all of their help and support in the world, decided that she was going to go to the local shop, buy a bottle of vodka, drive somewhere, and then drink herself insensible. And that is exactly what she did. George Grundy happened upon her, drunk as a lord, in the car. Now, quite naturally and understandably, he considered that that was a very risky situation. It would be a fair assumption that when the drunken woman came around from her drunken stupor, she would drive that car. Probably, the reasonable person would assume, probably while still under the influence of alcohol, while still over the legal limit for driving. So, he did what he considered to be the kind and responsible thing. He grabbed the keys and intended to drive her home, making sure that she was safe. You know, she was a woman out in the middle of nowhere, in an unlocked car, drunk as a lord. Anything could have happened to her. She could have been raped and ravaged by marauding people. Oh, the car could have been stolen, or she could have come around, still half drunk, driven the car and caused chaos. So he did the responsible thing. He intended to drive her home so that she was safe, the situation was safe, the car was safe. He did the mature, adult and responsible thing. Now, what happened? During that drive, my lovelies, the drunken woman began to come around, didn't she? Oh, she woke up, didn't she? Pissed as a rat, wasn't she? Yes, she was. Drunk as a lord. And saying that she didn't know what was happening, and then saying that she was going to be sick. Not surprisingly, she had poisoned herself with the entire contents of a bottle of vodka. Of course she was going to be sick. But because she's drunk, she's got no sense of correctness, or she's got no sense of her own safety. So, in a moving car, she tried to open the car door in order to vomit copiously into the night air. But let us not forget, this woman is leglessly, pitifully, howlingly drunk. So, what are the chances? She's going to fall out of the car, isn't she? So, is George Grundy going to let that happen? No, in the blinking of an eye, because he had no time to stop and think. He's suddenly in control of a moving vehicle that a drunken woman, as far as he's concerned, is trying to hurl herself out of. So he reached over to hold the door shut to maintain her safety, and very, very unfortunately, while he was doing that, he momentarily took his eyes from the road, and there was a very unfortunate incident with an oncoming car, and the cars dived off the road and ended up in the river. Then George Grundy bravely and courageously put his own life at risk to rescue not one, not two, but 3 people who were trapped in cars in that... Oh, hang on, it was only one car that ended up in the river, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Alright, ignore the bit about 2 cars being in the river, it was only the other car. It was a while ago, darlings, that this happened. So, there were 3 occupants in the car that was in the river, and he bravely and courageously put his life at risk to rescue not one, not 2, but all 3 of those people. What a hero. And then he made his mistake. In a panic, a young man without much experience in life, who had just been through an incredibly traumatic situation, he made a mistake. He moved Alice from the passenger seat to the driver's seat so that it appeared that she was driving. A mistake beyond any question, especially because he had done absolutely nothing wrong at this point. The only person who was to blame for that accident was Alice herself, the woman who had the nerve to claim to be a victim. She was no victim, she was the cause. But this young man, in that moment of panic, he made that mistake. And he perpetuated that mistake by not owning up to it quite as promptly as he could have. But he did own up to it. And so he is now to spend a 2-year sentence, not even in a young offenders institution, in an adult jail. This young, innocent, hard-working chap has to spend 2 years, or a large proportion thereof, behind bars in an adult institution, whilst the true villain in this piece walks free and receives the sympathies of one and all. And why has this happened? Simple. Because George Grundy is of peasant stock. He is a hard-working toiler of the land, and he comes from a humble family, whereas Alice comes from a wealthy family, landowners, people of power and influence. So even though she is a disgraceful excuse of a human being, a disgraceful mother, a disgraceful wife, a disgraceful person, that matters not, because she comes from a good family. And as happens in this life and in this world, it's the rich what gets the gravy, and it's the poor what get 2 years in chokey. All those responsible for this monstrous miscarriage of justice should hang their heads in shame. Shame on you all. And on that somber note, my little fun-sized Mars bars, it is time for me to bid you good night and bring this video to a close. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to those of you who have taken the time and effort to tickle the like button. It is very much appreciated. The debt of gratitude that I owe to those of you who were kind enough to leave your knobs alone when the adverts came on is almost unimaginable. And the depth of gratitude I have to my channel members is deeper than the deep blue sea and more infinite than the known universe. If I may be so bold, I would like to wish each and every one of you a safe, peaceful, warm night ahead, and express my fervent desire that over the day ahead, the angels themselves squat above your heads and piddle down a never-ending rain of blessings upon you. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies, and take care of those who you love and who love you. Much love from me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and my final word goes to George Grundy. Stay strong, my friend, and try not to drop the soap. Good night, my lovelies.